Hello everyone, my name is VivianJade, the trained unprofessional, and welcome back to Arches, a game that I thought was over, but upon closer inspection, the last update that came out was 0.8, so it was not the final build. There have been a few things added to complete the game. The game is now done, as far as I'm aware, and as far as is being said on the Patreon page. So we're going to take a look at the things they added, see what is new to this game. And I wanted to, before we get started, of course, make mention of the fact that it has been said multiple times throughout the release of Arches, the promotion of it, that this is a very personal story to the people telling it. Imagine, namely, the writing. And, I mean, in the past, I've had issues with people taking critique of a work that they have produced to be a statement on them as a person. And at that time, and right now, it's not happening right now, but I just wanted to make very clear that it is never my intention, unless explicitly stated, which it almost never would be, but it is never my intention to make any critique, comment, criticism related to these games to be also related to the character of the people making it. I have done so in the past, and when I have done so, I have specifically said when that is the case. Sometimes I did it too flippantly, in the case of like the translation of, I think it was Lagoon Lounge. I was flippant in critiquing the translation staff as opposed to like talking about the work itself. So in that regard, I since then have done my best to only comment on the work itself, not the people making it, because in order to produce a work of art, a work of fiction, or some sort of production, generally a part of you goes with that, and so I can understand why it is easy to give into the temptation to feel that anything said about the work is also being said about you, the person who made it. And I can't speak for everyone, but at least for me, the parts that I've said I've liked about this game and parts that I've said I don't like about this game, neither were an indication of my impression of the people involved in making it. That being said, let's get into what has been added. According to the changelog on Patreon, something I almost never check, in order to avoid potential spoilers, they've altered scene transitions, corrected typos, updated the end credits, changed the preferences menu. These are things that you can better experience by playing the game yourself. The things that we'll be looking at are the short story at the beginning, which, Cameron's short story, apparently there's parts that we already saw, and then there's a previously Patreon exclusive additional part that has been added to it that used to be just a second one. And then there's a Devon short story, I guess, called Vessels. It says Vessels in the changelog, that you can see after you get the credits. So I'll be taking a look at that. Let's start with the short story, which I believe you get by clicking the dust on the front. If I recall, of course, there doesn't seem to be any dust It is interesting that we've got some locked CGs, which to me indicates that there's something post here, but there's also some near the beginning that we haven't seen. So let's just try loading up the last save file we've gotten. Oh, no. Will it let us go past that? Run. That's ominous. What does that mean? Isn't this just the beginning? Yeah, this is just the beginning. Yet. Alright. I guess we'll just have to remake the save file. It happens. It's bound to be a thing. There we go. There's the main menu. Okay, so I believe it was this rock, or maybe click on Cameron. How the fuck do we access the short story? I don't know. I can't seem to find the short story anymore. Yeah, this is definitely just the beginning. I just clicked on the start game and it did that. Oh, that's something else. They added an animation while they're in the car, which I think is really fucking cool. Like, that's just a neat little detail, isn't it? Okay, I'm like keeping an eye out for various things that have been changed, namely CGs. This was the loading screen when I popped it up. This CG right here, let me give you a better look. This appears to be, if I recall, this is the trailer Cameron grew up in. And that's his mom over there. God. So, yeah, that's uncomfortable. For some reason, like, I was thinking of saying that they've never looked cuter than in this moment. And I'm like, yeah, no kidding. They're fucking not fighting for their fucking lives. It's easy to look cute when you're not being traumatized. Oh shit, special thanks to Blythe Lloyd. Way to go, man. Wonder why he got special thanks. I wonder what he did. Maybe a consultant thing, maybe they talked about it. No idea. It's pretty cool though. Way to go, Blythe. And ooh, okay, so this is different. This is different. It doesn't even like have the ability to start the game over. It's gallery and the question marks. So I guess this is where the holy shit. What the fuck was that? It just flashed a bunch of CGs at us? I guess the lock CGs are from the short stories, so can we please do the short story? Where the fuck is it? Could have sworn it was this like dusty rock at the bottom. Oh, I found it. I clicked Cameron's foot, which I could have sworn I did before, but whatever. Okay, so this is not how it started last time. Here we go. The first time I saw something serious was on the day I turned 8. My mom had bought me this old handheld and a few games to go with it. Even though it was a generation out of date and all my friends had the newer version, I was still happy to have it. It was cool to just own something. I was alone. Mom let me stay home from school that day as a part of my birthday present. I was on this little sofa, sort of slouched down as far as I could go, practically laying on my back on the seat cushion with my head propped up against it. I was playing this game that I can't even remember, just staring at the display. And I saw this weird reflection on the plastic screen. Easy to see because it didn't actually light up like the new model did. So, that would be your Game Boy and Game Boy Pocket versus the Game Boy Color. Did the Pocket have a backlight? I don't feel like it did. Did the Color even have a backlight? I know it had color, but like, I feel like the backlight was kind of... I don't know when the fuck that came out now that I think about it. So I remember having to have the little plug-in lamp all the way up until the SP, for fuck's sake. But I believe the SP also had the backlight button. I don't know. Anyway, There's this reflection of something really tall and dark in the corner next to me. All I can think is that Mom somehow hung up one of her long jackets or dresses on the floor lamp we have there. And that didn't make sense, so I look up and to the right, and then I saw it. A face staring down at me. 2 yellow eyes with slit pupils, no muzzle, face flat, and the edges of its mouth curled up into a grin. Its teeth were long and sharp, all of them. I don't remember seeing ears. I don't think it had any. I just know it wasn't a person. It was a thing, a creature. The yellow eyes were standing out from the black matted fur that covered its face. I could only see the edges of its mouth because it had on it what I think was a raincoat or something. There was this big collar that was turned up and covered the lower half of his face. It was tall. Its shoulders and back of its head and neck were up against the ceiling, so it was looking straight down at me. And the rest of its body was pushed back into that corner next to the sofa, its arms out to the side and pressed into the walls, like he's bracing himself. What I think were long black claws stuck out from the openings at the ends of the sleeves dug into the walls. And for the few seconds I stared up at it, it didn't move at all, not even a little bit, kind of like it was stuck in a still frame. It's weird to see something that you know shouldn't exist, like there's this extra moment where your brain absorbs what it's seeing, and instead of making you react right away, maybe seeing a spider would, there's this extra beat where the brain is really analyzing it. Like, yep, this is really happening, and it really shouldn't be, but here it is. It's hard to remember exactly what happened next. I just sort of ran, or at least scrambled on all fours trying to get the hell out of there. I didn't hear anything, didn't feel a move, and I was too scared to look back. I was tumbling out onto the wet grass because it was cloudy and drizzling like always, and then onto the little paved walkway that wound its way through the trailer park. I was just running up that walkway, getting as far away from the thing I didn't understand as I could. What kind of fucks me up to this day even worse than when I first saw it, is that when I was a good 3 trailers away, I looked back, not really expecting to see anything, but I did. There, framed in the little window of our trailer, was the flat-faced creature, still with the same expression, collar still up, looking frozen in time. The blinds, which had always been bent and askew, were moving, though, gently swaying behind its head as it grinned at me with those yellow eyes. I just sat at the entrance of the park, shivering in the rain. After a moment, one of the neighbors rushed out of a trailer to check up on me. I told her I was fine, but wasn't able to tell her why she saw me running out from my trailer or why I couldn't go back to my trailer. So she brought me into hers instead. I guess she thought that maybe someone broke in and scared me, because then the cops were there, and my mom was there, and I think she got into some trouble for leaving me alone. When the cops left, I got in big trouble. I was just happy to have people around. Of course, I couldn't tell them what happened, because it couldn't have happened, but it did. And then it happened again, and again, and again. What the fuck? Hold up. What? Oh, it's just like a weird little flash. I don't know what that's about. Oh. And it's gone. Okay. Hey. I remember this. Okay. So I guess that's what got added to Cameron's short story. Let's see if we can... Oh. We clicked on Devon's ass, and now we have, I guess, the Devon one. Yeah, this is different. This is new. Oh, we're going straight there, huh? Okay. Honey, whatever happens, just play dead, okay? No matter what. No! Boom. Shaka laka laka shaka laka shaka laka. Boom. Sorry. Oh, man. I should not have been singing shaka locking before that. Cameron. Damn. Ooh, March 2024. That's a jump. Echoes aren't hard to find. They're everywhere. But some are worse than others, and Cameron knows which ones need taking care of the most. Devon! I don't want to yell. I don't know if she's still asleep, but she is at least snoozing nearby, so I don't want to be loud. Spoof just snorted. Flash. A flash of light. One I've gotten used to seeing explodes behind my eyelids, along with an explosion of pain in my face and head. Devon! Shit! Yes, sir! Never mind, that was gross. A dull, blunt thud resonates through my stomach, and a familiar ache seems to hollow it out completely, sending all the breath I have held inside, blasting out on a wheezing groan. Then, the familiar thump of bone on pavement as my legs seem to turn to jelly and I go down on my knees, head bowed, gasping for breath. Next time you're dead, you fucking creep. Damn. What the hell's happening here? Watch out, Cameron yells. One of my paws folded under my stomach as I grip at my gut reaches for the grip of my pistol strapped on my waist. I look up and see a scruffy-looking raccoon, mask of his facial fur barely visible in the soft yellow glow of the streetlights. He's got his foot drawn back and looks about ready to kick me again while I'm down, but his buddy, a squat, muscular rat, probably the guy who hit me last, holds him back. I hear sirens, man, let's go. The raccoon looks back down at me, almost like he thinks I'm the one who called the cops, but he moves on, spitting on me as he goes. I lower my head even more as I hear them scurry off toward an area behind the warehouse they'd been beating me up against. Now I'm left alone in the patchily lit parking lot, the already faint sirens fading away into silence. Well, I'm physically alone. Are you okay, Devon? Cameron's voice comes through again. Ands. I can tell he's trying to hold back from sounding panicked. I'm fine, babe. Don't worry. Just need a minute. I send him reassuring thoughts, even while my face comes to rest on the rough gravel and asphalt of the lot, feeling myself drool into it. Cameron goes quiet after that, realizing there's not much he can do except wait. A few minutes later, I grunt and make my way to my feet before looking back one last time. The men had already left in their car, the sounds of the roaring engine fading into the night. The warehouse, though, sits still and silent, gently illuminated by the surrounding streetlights. From one of the top windows, I see it. Probably standing on the grated metal flooring, I see it watching me with its red, glowing eyes. Oh, back in the kitchen again. The scruffy raccoon's punch got me good, right over the left eye. I could already feel it starting to swell closed, and I head for the medicine cabinet. Damn, with the dead plant in the background and everything. Jesus. I don't remember if this is the exact CG as last time. Maybe it's not a dead plant, but just like a viney one. I don't know. I swallow down 4 ibuprofen and a Tylenol for the throbbing ache that's already established itself firmly in my brain. You're gonna want to eat something with that, Dev. Cameron's feelings of gentle reproach are barely contained under the veil that he's trying to hide them under, and he finally blurts out his concern. He's right, though, and even though the hollow ache in my gut makes me not even want to think about food right now, I grab a piece of bread and force it down in a few bites. Fail. Another term we've come up with to describe something we don't understand. In this case, it's just a sense or feeling we both get when we're hiding thoughts or feelings from the other. It's like a mental shield, always up and rigid, but ready to come down if you let it. It sounds bad, but when someone's living in your head 24/7, you need some privacy. And so we automatically hide behind our veils most of the time. It's not like I'd prefer silence, though. Cameron's thought voice is gentle, quiet, and eventually, but especially now that he's trying not to upset me, which he shouldn't have to be doing. I'd fucked up bad this time. Caught and got my ass kicked. I'd been staking that spot out for weeks, Cameron having noticed an echo in the upper windows of a random warehouse in the city's industrial park district. One that was, for whatever reason, really strong. From what I was able to gather, they were using it as a sort of something. Something definitely bad, because of the few times I'd gotten close to the warehouse, I'd heard faint, distant screaming. I gathered enough to know for sure it's not organized crime or gang-related. It's something much more strange and sinister, as it always is when it comes to echoes. I actually wasn't able to gather much, except that the rat was the main source and the one that needed to be dealt with somehow. Not that it matters now. After catching me, they'll definitely be moving their base of operations. The swelling is really bad, Devon. Maybe we should try putting some ice on it? The last sentence is posed as a question, again, apparently worried about how I'll react. Yeah, I know. I grabbed an ice pack from the cabinet and opened the freezer before pouring several ice chunks in it. You know, I'm not mad, Cameron. You are. The tone in his voice says it all. Man, there's Devon alone in the kitchen. In case it wasn't obvious, this seems to be from the alternate future that Cameron saw where he died. There was that that kind of confusing bit where there was like a death fake out almost, but what really happened, as is explained later to me, is that was a vision of a future, like a vision of an alternate timeline type of thing that helped guide Cameron to have the reflex to move the shotgun before, got shot. Kind of like what we saw in Glory Hounds. Well, it is the Echoverse after all. I do not think at all it's the same thing. It's not connected in any way. I put the cold compress on my left eye, sighing loudly. Not at you. So why are you so upset? The entire situation and how stupid it is. I can feel how you feel, no matter how many barriers I put up. You rub off on me, and I can't help it. I wince, my eyes closed, thinking about all the times Cameron had described what it's like being stuck in my head. How when I get gloomy, so does everything around him. Something else to feel like a complete jackass about. Yeah, well, I can't always. Damn, look at his eye. Look at his eye. God damn it. Jesus Christ. Control how you feel. I know. That's why I'm trying to hold off. Sorry. No, I mean, I huff loudly in frustration. I honestly wish I could be happier for you so you're more comfortable living up there. It's silent for a few moments. Moments I wish weren't silent because I know what Cam's thinking about. It could be if you give up on this, whatever the hell this is. I feel a flash of annoyance, and this time it is directed at Cameron. This is helping other people not have to go through what we went through, Cameron. This is stopping years-long cycles of pain and suffering. That's what the hell it is. Haven't we suffered enough? Maybe. Who else is in this position that can do what you can do? I'm not sure what we're making much of a difference. We clearly don't know what the fuck we're doing, Dev. My heart sinks, realizing how much Cam might not actually want to do this. The one thing that's kept me going the past 4 years. You're the one that suggested this, you know. I say it in my head, the way I do when we're in public, or when I just don't want to say it out loud. I know, but I didn't realize it would become so dangerous. That if things get physical, we just move on, but I didn't realize you'd... Cameron searches for the right words. When you set your mind on something, it's hard to get you to change it. That's dangerous and stupid, and that fucking gun you have strapped to your hip all the time doesn't help. I need protection. Of course you do. But what if they saw it? What if you actually do have to pull it out? What then, Devon? Then I have to, Cameron. Oh. I look down at my phone. Arturo. Shit. Hey, maybe we just ignore it for now. We need to talk. He'll understand. We plan this call like days. We plan this call ahead by like 3 days, so I can't just ignore it. But you can. He'll understand, honey. And I've already made up my mind to pick up. He doesn't use pet names that much, but when he does, I know he's really concerned and upset. His quiet, meek objection almost makes me stop. But I have to. The almost physical pull of two people who are very important to me, stretching me in opposite directions. Maybe sensing my rising frustration and stress, Cameron backs away in my mind, the way he does whenever I need privacy. It's another level to the veil barrier. The feeling is similar to what it would have felt like if he just left the room. I put the phone up to my muzzle, wincing as it presses against my bruising face. Put it on the other side. Hey man, what's up? Quickly make a final aside to Cameron before Artie responds. After this, hon, I promise we'll talk more. Cameron doesn't respond, but I know he hears me. Then Arturo's cheerful, slightly accented voice comes through the speaker. Yo, how's it going, man? Press my index and thumb pads to my right paw hard against my brows, trying to tame the ache that still seems to echo through my head. I'm doing okay, all things considered. Jesus Christ. Apparently, he hasn't completely left the room. I ignore Cameron for now. Most of my focus is on trying to sound as okay as I just told Arturo I was. Hope those things aren't too terrible. You sound pretty awful. I can sense what he's implying with those words. It probably sound like I've been crying with my swollen nose and raspy voice. 4 years removed from Echo, and he still knows that I'm struggling. Even Arturo seems to have moved on better than I have, after taking a bullet to the back of his head. Sometimes I can't even tell it's happened. Sometimes I almost forget. But something always reminds me sooner or later. I know Artie never forgets, how could he? And I can't read minds like Cameron. No, not too bad. The silence that follows is an awkward one, which isn't normal when Artie's involved, the silence part, I mean. But it feels like he's wanting to say something to me that he's nervous about. Are you okay? I feel a jolt of worry and concern. Last Artie and I had talked, he mentioned that things were a bit strained between him and Maria, mainly because he was having a hard time trying to take care of her the way that he used to. If they're gonna split up, I don't know what Arturo's gonna do. I'd offer for him to live here, of course, but that would make things difficult between me and Cameron for a ton of different reasons. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. Do you need a place to stay? Arturo laughs, and the release of tension makes me feel a little bit better. No, me and Maria are doing fine. We're doing all right now. It was just a few weeks ago, and that things got a bit hard since we're both going through our own shit at the same time.
Yeah, that sounds miserable. You just need someone to talk to right now?
Yeah, that, but it's about me.
I furrow my brows at that, wondering how Cameron would know that Arturo is know that with Arturo being so far away. Frick. Maybe a vision or something. He's right though, as he usually is.
I had something.
His stuttering becomes more pronounced, which happens when he's flustered or emotional.
Same.
I stand more upright, muffling the grunt that comes from my mouth as my sore stomach muscles tense up. Hey, dude, it's all good. Tell me what's on your mind, no matter what it is, okay? That seemed to calm him down a bit, and he takes a deep breath.
How are you doing with
being alone? Let out a hollow, fake laugh that falls flat.
Yeah.
I take a deep, full breath, again wincing at the dull ache in the center of my body. I'm managing.
You, ever thought of seeing people?
If Cameron's listening in, he doesn't say anything. No, not yet. It's quiet for a while, and just as I'm about to talk about how work's got me too busy to date right now, I hear something that makes me freeze.
Something's been bothering me a lot lately. It's about Cam, and I'm sorry.
And the words dissolve away into sobs. Shit. I feel a pain, frustration, followed by even more guilt. In the past, I'd jump at opportunities like this, to be there for people that might need me, but I'm just not as good at it as I used to be. Cameron, Arturo, my parents, my work colleagues, they can all tell. In fact, Mom was the last person to encourage me to start going out again, even saying the gay scene is better out in Fort Allen, and maybe just come back home, which had made me laugh and want to cry at the same time. I feel Cameron's presence return, though briefly.
You're doing good, Devon. You know that.
Press the speaker closer to my ear.
Hey, dude, what's wrong?
Through hitching sobs and stutters, Arturo talks about the last time he heard Cameron's voice, about how he heard him begging Brian not to do whatever it was he was doing.
Sometimes I wonder if I had done something, he might have been able to get away or something. I was slow because of the gunshot wound, so maybe he could have. I don't know, I'm sorry.
This is something I hadn't heard about before, and in the back of my mind, I wonder why Arturo would tell me this. Feelings, smells, thoughts, tastes, everything from Echo comes back, reminding me of being trapped in that van while it was all happening. While Artie and Cam were being hurt in ways that can never be fixed or undone. I feel my heart rate rise, my breaths become heavier as adrenaline starts coursing through my body. Cameron's still there for me, even though he made a point of leaving earlier, senses my confused mix of anger and grief and guilt for feeling this way when Arturo is trying to open up to me.
It's okay. It's over. I'm fine. It would have gotten us both killed if he tried anything. I just can't help feeling awful about it that you lost the guy you were that close to. And
I swallow hard, mentally willing my voice to stay steady before I start talking again. Don't worry about me, Artie. And try not to blame yourself for any of that. I'm the one that asked you to come, remember? This shouldn't have ever happened in the first place, and I'm sorry. Artie laughs softly through his tears.
That's word for word what I expected you to say. It's just, you seem so distant lately, like the past year used to
talk all the time. As Artie goes on about how I used to be, I feel the surprising urge to just tell him about what's happening, about how Cameron is still with me. And no! Thought is strong, unwavering, and it overwhelms my own mind to the point that I lose my train of thought. It's happened before, but not like this. Makes me wonder how strong his own thoughts actually are, if maybe he could completely take over if he wanted. Either way, I can't tell Artie after a message as powerful as that, so I settle for something more vague. Listen, man, all I can say is something is going on, but I'm not ready to talk about it just yet. I promise I'll tell you someday, all right? I'm surprised by how relieved Artie sounds to hear that. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Take your time, man, and sorry for unloading like that about what happened in that town. I won't bring it up again. I just needed, I don't know. I get it. And if you ever need to talk again, I'm here for you. Same. I was actually thinking maybe we could meet up again, maybe go off-roading or even try some rock crawling in your new Jeep. Well, that made me smile. That despite what happened to him, he's still wanting to do shit like we used to do. Shit that could have gotten him killed. But if it makes him happy, we should. Maybe over the weekend? Feels like pang of jealousy, maybe even some resentment, but it takes me by complete surprise. Sweet! Well, might have to be the weekend after, since Maria and I have a date trip weekend thing going on. I'm confused, and then shocked when I realize those feelings came from Cameron. Takes a good few seconds before I can get my thoughts straight again. A weekend after? Well, sounds good to me. We talk a little bit more, but Cameron's simmering irritation becomes too much to ignore, and after a while I make an excuse about needing to prepare dinner before hanging up. It's partially true, but I really only use the microwave these days. I can at least be happy knowing that Arturo was sounding way better than when we first started talking. Cameron stays silent as I actually do start to make my food. An unappetizing plastic bowl of lightly seasoned frozen vegetables. I'm still baffled at Cam's strange reaction when I was on the phone with Artie, but I know to wait for him to gather his thoughts before trying to talk to him. I subtly project the feeling of me being tired, hoping it would make the coyote take some pity on me with whatever it is that's pissing him off. He's keeping it tightly guarded, though. As I open the packaging on the bowl, I think I hear something in my house and my ears perk up for any sound, any movement. No one's here, Devon. Just being a little cautious is all. Nothing wrong with that. Not usually, but paranoia can drive anyone insane. Poke some holes in the plastic wrap to vent the bowl before throwing it in the microwave and starting it. I don't have much of an appetite. My gut's still feeling queasy after getting beaten up. I gently feel around my face with a paw, finding where the swelling is most painful around my left eye. Gingerly, I apply the compress to it, a little surprised by how much it had swelled up between the fight and getting here. You were talking on the phone for over half an hour. Yeah, I know. Thanks, Cameron. So now you're mad at me? No, because I'm just trying to fucking help. Well, it doesn't help when you're pissed off about something that you're hiding from me. I'm not pissed off. I'm stressed out and worried after what just happened to you. I'm fine. Getting hit in the head is never fine, Devon. Well, it is this time. Besides, I'm talking about what happened with Arturo just now. Cameron sighs mentally loudly in my head. What, that I didn't want you to talk to him just so you could start treating your injuries? Did I read that right? That I didn't want you to talk to him so you could start treating your injuries. I think I added an adjust in there somewhere. I'm starting to realize he's not even going to tell me what the problem is. No, about you getting mad after I considered telling Artie about our situation.
Of course I got mad!
And what's this Cameron's thought echoes in my mind, making my headache throb even more. His next thoughts are less thunderous, under control, but still angry. Devon, I don't want people thinking you're crazy, and I especially don't want anyone knowing about what you do. You could get yourself arrested or killed. I wonder if he's mainly implying that I could get both of us arrested or killed, which is, of course, worse. But I don't let myself get distracted. Something's not right. Artie believes in this stuff. I mean, not the situation exactly, but he's really spiritual and believes in psychics and mediums. This is very different. It's not that big of a leap. Besides, what if you use your clairvoyance to show Artie that at least some of what I'm saying is true? That could be a good starting point. Devon, bringing Artie into this is only going to make things way more complicated than they already are. We can trust Artie. With that mouth of his? I bristle a bit as Cameron points out Artie's uncanny knack for saying the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Which is partially the reason why I was so pissed at him for the beginning of the game.
He doesn't fuck around with serious shit like this.
But how is this even gonna help us? Like I said, it will make things so much harder if even one person knows.
I'm realizing where this conversation's going, and I try to keep my thoughts under control, to keep him from wandering. Most of my thoughts are hidden from Cameron unless I intentionally project them out to him, but if they're strong enough, he picks up on them. This time, though, we both seem to be on the same page, despite not having to read minds. It's lonely, alright? Just being able to talk to someone would make things. His next thoughts are sharp and short. You just need someone to talk to. Cameron isn't asking me, he's just making a deadpan statement. It almost hurts with how cold he's being. Even when he gets upset or huffy, there's still a wariness to him that makes me feel like things are okay, but that's gone now. I try to remember if this has happened before. Cameron is always so nice and gentle after I've been through something rough like this, but this time, I keep these thoughts very quiet as I close my eyes in frustration, the aches of my body making things so much more agitating and distracting. Listen, Cam, if you're just jealous because I want to hang out and be closer, jealous? I once again. Please, Cameron, my head.
I'm scared. I'm trying to look out for you because you won't even do that for yourself.
Well, that's what it felt like. I felt like when Arturo was just talking about hanging out over the week. I felt it, when Arturo was just talking about hanging out over the weekend.
Fine, maybe I'm a little jealous, but it kind of fucking hurts when you realize you're not enough for your boyfriend and he has to rely on some straight guy to make him feel good. That's fucked up. That's the weird thing about this, divergent timeline is, it's played quite straight that somehow Cameron literally did end up in Devon's mind, but it leaves just enough, what the fuckisms to make it seem like maybe this is a psychosis. I really don't know. I don't know. Literally, I don't know if it's a full-on spirit transfer or if it's a version of Cameron that Devon has in his head that he won't let go and is driving him to do these things he feels he has to. It's very odd and not very well concretely defined, which is kind of the point, but I don't know. Anyway, let's just move on.
What the hell? I'm angry, but also baffled at just how nasty he's being. This isn't like Cameron at all. At least I don't think so. This hasn't ever come up before. Well, that straight guy lost almost everything trying to save us. Besides, I'm not into him like that at all, and he's definitely not into me, you know that.
And you'll be there the whole time.
This conversation, what we're arguing about, is all so surreal.
Since when did Cameron say stuff like this, or even feel that way?
Was this always the case?
You're oversimplifying things, making me sound like a crazy, obsessive boyfriend so you can justify doing things that are stupid and dangerous. Is it really that stupid and dangerous considering everything else I'm doing?
I don't know who's saying this. I just need some fucking peace and quiet tonight, please.
It was still him, but they took his name away.
I think that last part clear and loud in my mind, and I immediately regret it.
Fine, I'll give you space and you can do whatever you want. Bye, Devon.
Oh, come on, Cam, I'm really tired, and this silence is immediately eerie. He must have gone far into the place he usually goes when he's angry, but right now I can't feel anything from him. I wait in silence for a while, and then sigh in a way that makes it sound like I'm irritated, but it's mostly covered up by the slowly simmering anxiety. I wonder how long it'll be before he decides to come back. No matter how much I try to pretend, though, I can't shake the feeling of deep emptiness. This is something I haven't felt in years. Not since going into those mines back in Echo almost exactly 4 years ago now. I'm alone. Wait, Cameron? Cameron, you there? The feeling of being completely alone in my head is something I haven't felt since just before I killed Brian. Cameron, can you let me know you're here at least? Just one sign and I'll leave you alone. My voice sounds hollow in the empty space. Cameron? You there? No response except the microwave. I try not to panic and instead grab a fork and brought out the bowl of mushy, unappetizing vegetables, the smell overwhelmed by garlic. This isn't funny at all, Cam. Actually, it's kind of fucked up and pretty cruel too, because I didn't even do anything wrong. Wait a little longer, knowing those words would definitely trigger Cam to come back. But when he doesn't, I finally do start to panic. After about 5 minutes, I drop the fork in the bowl and look up. Cameron, you're really scaring me right now. Can you at least let me know you're here somehow? Anything. Empty. Because I'm going to start freaking out for real if you don't say anything to me, baby. Silence. That silence seems to become intangible, blanketing me with a feeling of suffocation. Emmy, baby, please. For the next 3 hours, I go from panic to anger to grief, back to panic, and then to anger and grief again. How could he do this to me right now? How could he? If he doesn't want to be around me, then I'm going to do the stuff he doesn't like me doing. I pull out an old bottle of bourbon and I start drinking. Cameron saw me doing this on a mostly empty stomach, and after getting in the head, hit hard in the head, he would step in, no question, but he doesn't. After waiting for almost another hour, I head to bed, drunker than I'd been probably since back in college. Curl into a ball, hugging Cameron's pillow tightly, silently begging him to come back. It's then that I start to process the idea that he could actually be gone. Kevin? Who's the fuck is Kevin? Cameron never said he could just leave, and he's never done it before. Maybe he doesn't even know how to come back? Silent begging isn't enough, and I mumble my coyote's name into the pillow over and over, hoping that if he's still here, he'll see how pathetic I look and come back. But he doesn't. Maybe somehow this isn't real, because none of this feels real.
Maybe this feeling of disbelief and devastation that's been with me since Echo has all been a dream. And I'll wake up in 2020 back with Cameron in bed next to me. I'm lucky I'm so drunk because I don't know how I deal with this sober. For now, I just cry myself to sleep. Just giving credence to the idea that... Oh? So when's your birthday? December 21st. You? October 18th. So I guess we don't have to worry about birthdays anytime soon. I hear a piano playing, along with the faint sounds of the radio in the background. A familiar, warm feeling of good times. Before the terrible changes. Hey, back in collage, if the college poster right in the center of the screen and the college hoodie that, not hoodie so much, but jacket that Devon's wearing wasn't enough of a clue. I like the small detail of putting the guitar, like the top of the guitar up in the in the right corner. It gives like a depth to the room. Like it's a small detail, but it's like it does a lot. I'm standing in the doorway of one of the music classrooms. The one that Cameron likes to go to or in the early evening so that he can play on the grand piano. It's interesting being in his world. I haven't spent much time outside the engineering building since finishing my general studies, but being here, looking around at all the instruments, I appreciate it all a bit more compared to the last time I was in this building when I took Intro to Music Theory a few years ago. These are the good times, but I won't know it, not until Echo. See? Piano is way easier for me. I thought you sounded just fine on guitar. It was his voice that I really liked, though. He has a rough and smoky voice? Damn, I was just doing my normal voice, but okay, fair enough. Might as well change the co-main character's voice on the last build. Like me, what I say for him. But delivered with a smoothness that reminds me of old black and white movies. 2 weeks in, and I'm already cautiously hoping this relationship will turn into something more. Cautious, because Jesus is still fresh in my mind. The relationship had only lasted a few months, but I wasn't ready for the rejection that I didn't even see coming. It worries me a little that this canine might do the same thing. For now, though, he's smiling as he continues to play. I can see the red tinging the skin inside his ears, making me think he's probably feeling the same way I did when I was showing him the advanced math and physics classes I was taking. But I am impressed. The coyote's innate ability to seemingly pull beautiful and catchy melodies together seems just as impossible as Cameron said my coursework looked. Where do you even start? Huh? Cameron looks up from playing. Like, just music in general. How do you just come up with it on the fly like that? Oh, well. Cameron scoots over as an invitation for me to sit down, and I do. Oh, look at them. That's nice. Everyone's different, obviously, but I guess once you really learn how music works and combine that with the music you listen to, you can just sort of... Again, his fingers play effortlessly across the keys. Something tells me my limited music library wouldn't give me the experience I'd need to be able to do something like this. Cameron had already teased me a little about listening to dad rock. He quickly showed me that he also listened to the same dad rock too, but he listens to everything from rock to pop to jazz, classical. He enjoys it all. It left me feeling flushed and embarrassed, even though there wasn't a good reason to feel that way. Now that I think about it, I realize that I've embarrassed myself in front of Cameron quite a few times now.
and I'm not sure if that's a good sign or not. Like, maybe I'm just paying more attention to what I do and say and do in front of him. Already walked in on us fucking was mortifying, no matter how I look at it. But Cameron had laughed about it afterwards, and he even talks to Artie. They get along really well. Well, that's when Cameron suddenly stops playing, looking at the clock above the classroom door.
Well, they said my song could come on at any time after 5, but yeah, they might not even end up playing it.
There's the pessimism I've come to expect. It's not bitter or upset. He's just lowering his expectations to avoid disappointment, which is kind of the opposite of how I think of things. They will. Cameron shrugs, looking unbothered. I'm not exactly sure what it is about him that's making this all feel so important. He's cute, funny, smart, and we have longer, deeper conversations than I've had with anyone else. His song sounded a little angsty, but through their dark humor, there's a lot of sadness and pain in the lyrics. When I asked him about it, he brushed it off, saying he was exaggerating in the songs. Everyone exaggerates. He's scared to tell me about his past. That makes me a little scared too. But maybe with some time, once I figure him out more. But something is telling me that this is gonna turn into something much more. Like, this is more than just a college fling, more than just a boyfriend. It's almost like I can see the future. Well, we can, you know. Huh? Cameron starts playing again, this time with a different but no less gentle and pretty melody.
See the future. Besides, this has already happened. It's me, Devon.
A slight laugh in his voice, one that sounds more surprised than anything. I let my mind fall back into that current, confused, traumatized, and angry mindset I seem to always be in now. But you laughed. I felt it.
I actually don't know what happened, but I didn't like it. Everything was dark and quiet, and then you were dreaming, and now I'm here.
You're back with me?
I think so, yeah.
I sit on the bench next to Cameron, reaching out to touch him. He's solid, and through his sweatshirt I can feel his slender frame. He's real. We hug, we kiss. It's just like how it used to be. How does this feel so real? Is this really a dream?
A half dream, I think. This happened a few times before. Like, I visited you when you were dreaming, remember?
Like what happened in Echo?
It was more like a nightmare. This is a good dream.
Cameron continues playing on the piano.
I don't know. You have this, like, beacon-like quality about you that no one else does. I think I'll always be able to find my way back.
I kiss him again. Can we not go back? I want to stay here forever. Cameron laughs.
We've got time. As long as we don't try to wake up too hard. We might even end up right back here again if things line up right.
But what if we don't?
Then we'll stay here as long as we can and not worry about it.
I'm reminded of the other qualities about the coyote that I love. The way he's often so stressed and full of anxiety, but then suddenly surprises me with his durability and his bravery, especially when it comes to helping others. I just wish he'd remember that more when it comes to himself. I relax a bit as the warm, late afternoon light comes to pour into the room, lighting up the shiny instruments and the dust motes that swirl around us. I can see that the campus grounds are empty and not bustling with the usual combination of after-class hangouts and studying. Next up, we have a new song from our very own Cameron Wilson, a junior here at Pueblo.
I guess the student radio is from 1915.
The voice is faint, almost covered up by static.
Called When We Had Everything.
Cameron smiles at me, and I smile back. I can remember this exact moment. The way Cameron had almost yelped in surprise and excitement at hearing his name and song come up. Instead of even listening to the song we just made out. Man, we sure were horny back then.
Back then?
But Cameron doesn't say it. Or his mouth doesn't move, at least. And his voice is different, maybe a little deeper. Mainly, though, it comes from behind me. The Cameron I'm looking at reacts at the same time, spinning to look back, and I do the same.
Oh, shit. Is this a convergence point in the timelines? This is getting weird, man.
In the split second that I see it, I know what I'm looking at. Cameron had told me about it, how it's been following us around since Echo, how it's sort of an echo itself, one that manifested after Brian murdered him. We don't know what it wants, but it hurts my Cameron, reminds him of the pain he went through. And as I look at this fake Cameron, I feel that old anger. That same strange, cold fury that had blossomed in my chest after seeing what Brian had done, how it overrode the shock and incoming grief just long enough for me to finish that old bear. I feel my teeth drop back in a feral growl, warning this echo back, and it reacts by looking at me with fear and sadness. For some reason, that only makes me angrier. And I take in everything that makes this coyote so different from the one that I know so well. There's a glazed look in his eyes, like he just woke up. And his build is all wrong, thicker and pudgier than Cameron had ever been. No, this is some warped, sick creation. It's not even alive, but I know it can still hurt us. It's too late, though, as I hear a strange gurgling hiss next to me. I look.
Oh! 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 Oh, man!
Did you try to draw from reference?
Wait, you try to draw from reference? Oh, fucking hell. When you're only good at drawing one side of the face. God, that's fucking horrifying. When Brian shot Cameron in the face, half of it had been blown away, splattering the walls of the cave and filling it with a smell that I will never forget. And now, even now, it fills my nostrils, and I just sit there shaking and staring at Cameron, seeing his wide, twitching eye, like he's still alive, and feeling it. What? Why does it say like he's alive twice? I don't. Now I get to see him in agonizing detail without the blood and gore covering the rest of him up. Now I wonder if he was somehow alive and feeling the pain in the seconds after the gunshot blast, when I couldn't see any part of his face clearly. Stop! In the name of fuck! God damn!
I yell at the echo, at the dream, at everything to make it stop. Reach out my right paw for Cameron's trembling shoulder, scared to touch it because I'm worried it'll make the pain worse. Even now, in this dream world, I can see the scars just visible through the fur on my right forearm where Cameron's jaw and teeth had been embedded. It had to be surgically removed. All I can really remember is asking a nurse if I could keep his teeth once they'd taken it out. I didn't know what I'd have left of Cameron then, even though he was already talking to me, trying to keep me calm. He's not real, Devon. I lash out in the direction of the echo and feel my fist hit something soft, and I hear a gasp, and suddenly I'm back in bed, feeling the beginnings of a pounding, awful hangover, but I don't pay any attention to it right now. Cameron, baby, are you there? Please. I'm here. Don't worry.
That blurs the lines even more as to whether or not this version of Cameron that's in Devon's head in this timeline is a projection, if it's his spirit, if it's just a hallucination, a psychosis of some kind. It's very strange, and that only made it more like okay. So the thing is, like, the fact that he could touch both of them gives the idea that they're both kind of real. But he said the other Cameron said that the other one isn't, and I don't know. I don't know what the fuck is happening.
Oh, thank God. Are you okay? What the hell did he do to you?
I don't know, but I'm okay now. Okay, I won't leave like that ever again.
Are you in pain?
Not anymore. Actually, yeah, I am. What the hell? How much did you drink?
I laugh out of relief and happiness, but mostly relief. Just glad my coyote is back. Babe, I thought I fucking lost you.
I'll be here as long as I can, Devon, and I'll help you find those echoes if that's what you really want. Now get up and get hydrated. Try to eat something, please.
Of course, Sonny, of course. I get out of bed, the aches and pains from all the things that had happened to me over the past day forgotten. I chat with Cam as I make myself something a little heartier, drinking a bottle of water along the way. Cameron is back to his old self, and I realize that's all I want.
No matter how much these echoes try to torment and hurt us, we're still together. Ooh. Echo couldn't change that then, and I sure as hell won't let it change that now. What the fuck? Oh, man. You know, I remember the time in my life when I was like actually frustrated with Echo games for not giving any clarification. Now it's more of a running gag. Because I have no idea if the conclusion that, or the thing you're supposed to take away from this is that the divergence points can interact if one of them, the one that we just witnessed, if that includes Cameron as a psychosis, as a transferred spirit, if it's the echo curse that got transferred from Sam to Chase to, it wasn't from Sam to Chase, it was Sam to whatever, that fucking guy. But if it's that, if it's a version of that, if it's something completely different, if it's a psychosis, if he's completely imagining it and it's being challenged by the Cameron in the alternate timeline who seems to be coming in and be like, dude, you're fucking insane. And they're like, no, I want to be insane. I mean, I want this to be real. I mean, I don't know. But at this point, I don't know that we're going to actually get any clarification on anything. I really don't. And that's fine. I mean, I feel like a key aspect in a compelling narrative at some point has to include that Mark Twain phrase where it's like, first you get your facts straight and then you distort them to your leisure. Part of getting your facts straight is conveying those facts to your audience. But I don't know what the fucking facts are. I really have no clue. And I mean, with this next year apparently being the year of Adastra or whatever the fuck they're doing, I have no clue if we're ever getting any more Echo-based content. I really have no fucking clue. I really don't know what the fuck we're gonna get, because if we get a follow-up about Cameron and Dev, it's not gonna be based in Echo. It'll be, the Divergent story or whatever the fuck. Or do we not get anything? Do we not get follow-ups? Like, we didn't get follow-ups of the individual characters from the original Echo game, and the Smoke Room's in fucking shambles. And that doesn't even go back to the original fucking thing that we only get bits and pieces of lore about here or there. So, in all honesty, if this is the last thing we ever see from the town of Echo or the Echo world that isn't part of Adastra, we'll be left with as few answers as we started. Not literally, like, with more questions than answers. That ratio will be even wider than it was when we started. And if that's the point, if that's what they were going for, then cool. I literally started this recording saying, this is a very personal story to the people who are making it. And if it's a personal story, then how do you write a fucking conclusion if you're living it? If you're literally living the story or some parts of the story that you are telling to people, then what's the conclusion? You have to make up a conclusion and divert it from the personal aspects that you were living through. That's quite hard. And I saw a fucking post on like the furry visual novels subreddit where people were someone was talking about how they don't like self-inserts in visual novels. And, a lot of people were fighting back on that with the idea that, of course, it's going to be personal. Of course, there's going to be parts of it that they put in themselves. And it kind of devolved from there on how much of a personal aspect an author and a dev can be for their story. But that being said, we don't know how much of Arches is that personal story or and how much was added to it, subtracted from it, to make the story that we read. So I don't know. I really have no fucking clue. And at the end of the day, we can only wait and see if they ever add anything to it. Because if they don't, then we just sort of have to draw our own conclusions, which never really feel as satisfying as actually getting conclusions. At least that's for me. Some people relish in that speculation, and some people like being able to draw their own conclusions and kind of figure things out for themselves and have a story be their own personal interpretation. That's the story they take away from it. I kind of like to know what's happening and maybe go from there. With this, I have no fucking clue. But yeah, that's it. That's the end of Arches. This literally is the 1.0. I only spotted like one, maybe two typos the entire time. So if this is the end of Arches, and there's been no indication on what other Echo projects might come out. I mean, Arches started before Echo was done. I know the Smoke Room started before Echo was done. But I don't know if Arches started before Echo was done. I have no fucking clue. Either way, I guess we'll have to wait until after the Year of Adastra to figure out what the hell is happening. But until then, thank you all for being here for this episode, for the series as a whole. I appreciate it. And I will see you with whatever the fuck comes after this. Because I don't know. I am the trained up professional along with Squeaker McSqueakerson. The rustling of the candy. And we'll see you next time. Have a nice day, everyone.